Alright, hey everybody. So yesterday, March 5th, the NFL announced that they now have their first black woman official in the NFL league. And apparently her name is Maia Chaka, and her previous, what she was doing, I guess she used to officiate for college level games and dipped into like the trainings of the NFL. So her name was kind of in there, I guess. So just to get started with this, I clipped this little article saying another woman is making history in the NFL. 1 month after Sarah Thomas became the first female referee in the Super Bowl, Maia Chaka is now the first black female official. So again, this was announced yesterday, March 5th, which happens to be the 64th day of the year. Black female equals 64. Her name, Maia Chaka, 64. And civil rights equals 64. Notice that black female also has 35, like the date 3/5. But going back to civil rights equaling 64 and how that happened in 1964, I want to remind that the 19th Amendment also equates to 64, and it has everything to do with women's rights. Women's rights equals 64. So perfect day for this to go down on the 64th day of the year, where her name even equates to 64. And I do want to remind that as of last August, we now hit 100 years since women had the right to vote, and that was ratified on August 18 of 1920. And what's interesting, I took this clip, and even be joyful today equals 64. I mean, what a joke there, right? But what's also interesting about talking about these two NFL referees, Sarah Thomas and now Chaka, from August 18th, the 100-year anniversary day of 2020 of women's rights, to this announcement today, or yesterday, March 5th, was exactly 199 days later. And 199 has already been a number that I've talked about with Sarah Thomas, because her birthday is September 21st, and from her birthday to whenever the league put her on as a permanent NFL official was on April 8th, and that was 199 days after her birthday. First woman official equals 199. And again, Sarah Thomas, who happens to have a son named Brady, or Thomas Brady, or Brady Thomas, whatever, and he, Tom Brady just won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady was the 199th overall draft pick in the NFL in his year. So what are the odds of all this connecting? So perfectly with, again, the whole women's rights movement and these two lady referees. So going a little further, I want to point out yesterday's date to Sarah Thomas's upcoming birthday was a span of 201 days. And again, how that article is saying that they're making NFL history, that equates to 201, and we know all about 201. But also what's interesting about making NFL history, having 231 Gematria, August 18 of 1920, because it was a leap year, was the 231st day of the year, so that 231 definitely connects. 231, the 21st triangular number, and it shows her in a lot of the articles that they're talking about Chaka wearing the number 21, and here we are in 2021, and just everything's happening for women right now in the NFL, it seems like. But going a little further here, I want to go back to the date, March 5th, which can be written 5/3. Black history equals 53. And again, Sarah Thomas wears the number 53. And then football has Gematria of 133. And black female referee equals 133. First black female official in NFL equals 133. And then also taking Maia Chaka's initials in the 13th letter, see the third, like 133. Thought that was interesting. And again, talking about how she wears the number 21, which isn't official. That's just the picture. Like, I don't know what number she will be in the NFL, but just showing that, she's in that jersey number. 21 equals 42 and 102. Again, like the N word equals 42 and 102. Slavery equals 102, 42. I mean, just take an overlook of all of this. And even her name, Maia Chaka, equals 30 and 60, just like the N-word, 60 and 30 in slavery. And her first name, Maia, equals 30, and even her last name, Chaka, equals 30. So what are the odds of that even happening? And here we are entering into the 102nd NFL season. So big 102 ritual going on here. So, I mean, who knows what this year is going to bring in black, controversial, whatever they throw at us, news in the NFL, especially with this 102 stamped for the season. But then taking a look at her background, not only does she officiate like college level games and such, apparently they're saying that she is a physical education teacher in Virginia Beach, and yada yada. What was I going to point out here? Right here in this little clip, they will point out the announcement of Chaka's appointment comes as the Virginia School Boards Association has designated March as Education Equity Month. So taking Education Equity Month, that equals 281. 281 is the 60th prime number, and teacher equals 60. Again, like her name, Maia Chaka, equals 60, and the N-word equals 60, and they're calling her, she was a teacher equals 60. I mean, what are the odds? I mean, my goodness. And then also they want to point out that March is celebrated as National Women's History Month. So here we are in March, and she's making history, and whenever you take National Women's History, I want to show you the overlap with African American. 3 out of the 4 cipher match, 116, 289, and 100. So, I mean, that's not a coincidence at all. And then talking about making history as a black woman, and what did we just have on January 20th this year? The first black female vice president makes history. And talking about that date 120, before I get into this, 120, like female equals 120. I want to go back to this blog I had on Sarah Thomas about 120. You see female football official equals 120, and it was from her birthday to the date of the announcement of when they announced that she was going to be in the Super Bowl. That was on January 19th. Again, that 19 stands out, like the 19th Amendment of women's rights. But anyways, so the 19th day of the year. But from her birthday to that announcement was exactly 120 days, like female. And so we're just seeing all these little showdowns, right? And like by the numbers with all these women right now. So taking Inauguration Day to yesterday's announcement of the other black woman making history besides Kamala Harris, it was exactly 44 days difference, and Harris equals 44, and again that 64-44 connection with the civil rights and everything. I mean, black history, and again our first black president was the 44th president, and Barack Obama. So just so much aligned here. And then even if you wanted to take March 5th, yesterday, to Kamala Harris's upcoming birthday, it's a span of 230 days. And African American history equals 230. And I'm pointing out the 113 here because if you take a look from Inauguration Day to yesterday's announcement about Chaka, it was also a month and 13 days. And 113 is the 30th prime number. Again, like Maia and Chaka, and there's female, and even PE coach equals 30. So, I mean, perfectly aligned. And then a little bit towards the end here, if you want to take Kamala Harris's last birthday of 2020 and run it to yesterday's announcement, it was a span of 137 days. And first black female referee equals 137, and that's prime number being 33, and we know all about 33. But I wanted to point out the 106 because that definitely is something, because a huge number we've seen ever since George Floyd's death. So first black female referee equaling 106, like female vice president equals 106. And again, just to remind all the 106s, Black Lives Matter, Black Power, Negroes, Black, I Can't Breathe, Justice for Breonna Taylor, Justice for George Floyd, Equality, right? 106, and that's what all these little race wars are about is because they want it to be that way. And this is just proof, like, it's all by the numbers. But that's pretty much all I gathered on this, but I just see it as a huge tribute to this right here, these two words alone, entering into the 102nd NFL season, and, you know, Black history, women's rights, all that, huge tribute. So perfect person on the perfect day to be selected. Maia, Chaka. All right, see ya.